All right, let's start a tour of Camp Anokijig and bring back some memories. So this is coming up to Western Lodge from the parking area. One of the things that's planned in the near future is we're gonna add a deck to the end of this and a little set of doors through those windows there, so there can be a little nicer entrance. Come around the side here. You know, like everything else, things have changed but stayed the same. So the view from Western Lodge here. It's Memorial Day weekend, so we have some family campers here. You can get a good look at things. For those of you maybe watching for the first time, you can see the pontoon boat out there. It's about to duck behind our island. It's Optimist Island. It's one of the earliest parts of camp, actually. And all of that green space that you see over there is part of Camp Anokijig. At the north side of camp, with our Lakeview cabins, the start of the summer guys side. And we'll pan over here to overlook the parade grounds, which we'll go down to in a little bit. So you can get an eye there. I'll swing around here and take a look at the Western Lodge, so you can remember what Western Lodge looked like. And then we'll pause here to walk into Western Lodge. It may look a little different than you all might remember. In the summer now, we'll have 350 kids and 110 staff. So in the summer when we eat in here, we move to all the long tables, so we can fit that just about 500 people in here. But then the rest of the year, we'll put in the old hickory tables that you might remember. There's the kitchen with the in and the outdoor. We've had some changes over the years. The restroom that's underneath the building that you may remember, we shut down back in 2019, and we added a restroom at this level. So there's a boys and girls bathroom there, and where the window was going outside before is where we have our water filler station, which used to be around the corner where you can see the dishwasher in the background. Hopefully a lot of things there you still remember, like the canoes up on above, and in the summer we'll have that banner lowered that you made, and you may remember that Song of Grace on the wall. And we still have our picture of Ray Vance. Okay, now I'm coming from the parking lot down to the beach here. To our right, you see the Lakeview lodges. In the summer, that's the start of the guys' side of camp. The family camp, there'd be a family in each one of those cabins. We'll take a closer look at them later. We moved from tents to cabins about 30 years ago because the tents just kept blowing down. But we still have tents a lot of different places, which you're going to see. The waterfront now. For those of you who were here in the 50s and 60s, out at the end of the ridge over there to the right is where the Indian Village teepees used to be. The lake has come up over the years, and so the roadway that used to walk out there is gone, and where the teepees actually were is sometimes dry and sometimes not. But the mound is still there. That was on the back side of it. And you'll see that a little later. We've had a firing out there now. The 1950s slide is still here with Ray Vance's name when they sent it. Pier is a little updated. We don't have a high dive anymore. The insurance has taken that away. We've got the boathouse, all the stuff that goes with it. We'll move closer over here. Behind the boathouse now, with all aluminum boats, we don't have a canoe shed anymore, but we do have the canoe racks. You can see where the canoe shed was. Got our little game area here. I'm gonna slide you by.
I'm so sorry.
What used to be called Pioneer Lodge, and before that it was the Chester Beach Memorial Trading Post. Now we use it as a nature and as an annex trading post, actually. Again, over the last 60 years, it's had a lot of different lives and got redone. We have the big Voyager canoes now out in the bay. Across the bay, you may remember there was a teepee that sat out there. The fishing area here, the parade grounds, we still do flag raising, flag lowering every day. These sets of rocks here have been here for a very long time, likely where some people sat. The end of the bay here is dry now. In the 70s it was wet, in the 50s and 60s it was dry. That's where the blockhouse used to be at the end. Now we've got a game area there. Around the parade grounds there, again, is the Rippling Ridge tents that a lot of people stayed in, one of the favorite sections here. Look around the parade grounds where you used to have assemblies each morning. And the campfire ring. Campfire ring is still in the same spot. The rock that sits on it that has a very iconic picture, I believe, of Mr. Gilland or Mr. McQueen counseling a kid. It's an old photo that's in a lot of our old brochures. Back in the mid-2000s, when we got more and more kids, we actually had to expand it. And so we put in the rock work and the seats, a bigger sense of seats now, so that we can have all 500 kids in there. So that's the parade ground area. All right, I'm going to shut off so I don't have to make you sick going up the hill here, and we'll catch up at Moo. Okay, we're back to traveling through camp. This is Myers Lodge. In the summer, this is now the girls' side of camp, because we're co-ed all the time. We're entering the kingdom of Moo, and up on the hill you'll see the Voigt cabin, which was built in the late 60s. Before that, there was the ranch tent section was up there. That last section, Rippling and Moo, some of the first sections of Camp Anokijig. Up on the hill is Hickory Hillcrest, which is the last section on this side of camp. It's right in the woods there. You'll see the roof of a newer bathroom building built in the late 90s. This tent section is called Turtle Island. It's a smaller 4-tent section. In front of us, 3 small cabins make up Stone Road. So as we've grown, we've got a mix of cabins and tents go up. The small little Moo scoreboard was redone about 20 years ago to have two sides that are much bigger to serve the capacity now. Follow through the south side of camp here for alumni from the earlier days. Earliest on, this was actually the entrance to camp before the camp road was made back in the late 30s, early 40s. And the area we're about to go into was the original Camp Corral when we first got horses. Up here, the saddle shed, I believe, would have been against the wall or fence that we just came through, kind of on that side of the lodge. Now we'll have this little building and cover where we do what's called medieval archery, which is longbow archery, harkening back to Reed Arrow's longbows that they used to make back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. This field back in the 70s, 80s was a hay field. It's also, of course, one of those game fields. Again, early alumni would know this as South Pasture, because at the time this was the farthest south land that the camp owned. It is also the entry to Victory Hill that many people will remember. Okay, we've made it up to Victory Hill. One of the highest points of camp, per se, and many people always said it's the highest point in the county, but it's close, but not quite. Many people that came in the 50s and 60s and 40s tend to be amazed at how many trees are up here, because this was all pasture and farmland way back then. Things have filled in a bunch. That flagpole was put up several years ago to commemorate the start of Victory Hill, which was when the end of World War II, VJ Day. The campers all came up and had a massive fire about that tall to celebrate the end of World War II. Used to be a wooden pole there to represent that. Pole got a little old, and then through a generous donation, a monument and aluminum pole was put on. So now we have a constant flag flying up at the top of Victory Hill, along with the commemorative marker that talks about those early days and that anniversary. If you look way off in the distance, you actually see the smokestacks over there. That's right on the edge of Lake Michigan. The QD flag, which is the largest freestanding flag in the country. And all the area down below, between here and where that house is over there, that's hidden pasture. The entrance to the camp is up kind of right in the center zone there. You can see some electric lines that goes right out to the end. Over to the left is what's now called winter pasture. Used to be the Schneikert farm that the camp bought back in the, I think it was the mid-50s, early 60s. And then looking back down the hill of Victory, where many people played capture the flags and ran up with horses, and the campfire, where many people had trailcraft overnights. This is the current north side of Camp Lake Path. Back earlier than the 70s or so, there was actually a road that went along that. The lake was lower. Of course, the end of the bay there is where Indian Village was. They had many teepees out there. Again, the lake was lower, and now that area is under about an inch or so of water, fortunately. the view coming into the parking lot. This is the Camp Trading Post that was built back in the mid-90s. Earlier times, the trading post was at the end of Western Lodge there in the 60s and 70s. And before that, it was down at the beach area. Another area for those of you that are from many years past. A lot of these hills were all grass. Now they're trees. This is the mini golf course that was put in about 2019 on the side of the hill. For summer camp now we call this the hill. To the left is the Outer Ed building, and in the summer it's nature and digital photo. To the left there is a pellet gun BB gun range, craft shop and tie-dye deck. This building was actually built again in the 60s. It was called Foxwell Lodge. Still is. This is the archery area for recurve archery. Thanks to some generous donors, this year it just got a full pavilion covering. We got to finish up putting the arrow holders and stuff back together here. And construction just ended here a couple weeks ago. To the left is something we call advanced archery. That gets a tarp and pipe cover. And then there's an archery net that goes on those cables. And that's where we do archery with compound bows. So these days we have 3 types of archery. We've got basic recurve, we've got advanced with compounds, and then we have that medieval archery. Give you a shot from the top of the nature golf course. You can see what that looks like. Going down the hill. No windmills and clouds, just a lot of natural terrain, and it goes up and down the hill, which is kind of tough. Across the way, you see the old Timberline School. As we go back to the north side of camp here, that is the new woodworking pavilion. Again, that had a tarp and pipe cover on it until just a little bit ago. New hand tool woodworking. This trail where you get to the supply shed, our supply building. Years ago, this would have been where you ran the horses out to the northwest pasture, back behind the tent sections, and would lead to Indian Village on the backside. The building there is a scoreboard that was built, I don't know, 20 years ago or so, like that. Some of our newest cabins called Crow's Nest, kind of nestled in the woods here. This area that we're at one time was called Bunny Hollow. It's another little tent section area. These 2 buildings are called Thunderbird. There's 2 big rooms full of beds, 20 kids in each. And we're coming up into Brea Village. Six tents up on the ridge here. One of our sections that have been around for many, many, many years. Overlooks the lake. Just to the south. In the corner, you'll see the start of Timberline section, which overlooks that corner of the bay. Walking forward, you see Eastman Lodge, one of the oldest cabins on site. Many people would remember that. And from here you can get a little more glimpse of the lake and the island. As we go through. There's that Eastman Lodge cabin. Down below here in this little landing is where I've been told by Betsy Evans, who's Ray Vance's granddaughter, that this is where the Vance family had their tent early on. And just over the hill here, you'll see the, I guess we could call it the remnants of Indian Village. It would be in those reeds out there. Back in 2005, we took advantage of the mound from Indian Village to create the ceremonial knighthood fire ring. The Knighthood Honor Society is still intact, for any of those that remember. Still helping kids to make good choices and work on their values. This is the ceremonial knighthood ring. And as we go out of there, the trail to the Northwest Territory, again much more treed in since the 60s. This is where it would take you. All right, we're at the fork in the road. This way it goes back up to the main parking lot. To this way goes into what for most people is known as the sand pit field. This is the first of the northern fields. This one used to be for horses. Now we use it for games and playing time. The structure there we use for our Montessori daycare school that is currently leasing out a camp. To the right there, the building that you see is our apiary building. We've got 3 beehives there. Actually, 2 beehives this year. Screened in area so the beekeepers can actually bring the frames out so that the kids can see it from within the safety of the screening. Pasture over here. It's called Dragon or Dragonfly for many. And it's home to our herd of horses this time of year. Get moved around from field to field. Right now I believe we have 58 horses on site. To the left is a field called North Pasture. And then we can get you a look at some of that herd. Out there enjoying a little bit of breakfast in Dragon. This is also the field when we do ranch. We'll put up bending poles and play Red Rover and capture the flag and lots of items. Anokijig's beautiful herd of horses. A little bit of everything there for people to ride. Little old attitude here, gonna go catch up with his buddies. the recent construction has given us a little bigger parking lot, which we needed with the size that we're at these days. And yet to be completed is to put an archway back up here at the top to lead you down to the corral area. That'll come hopefully later this year. This is the corral that was put in the 1960s, in about 66 or so. Started out as just the shed building that you're about to see there. And then many years ago we added the roof, expanded the sides, get the horses some shade. And then we had put up this pavilion for people to gather on before their trail rides. And nowadays you got to have helmets when you ride a horse, so the big box over there has all the safety helmets that kids need to wear. And then just on the other side of those trees would be North Barn and our North Winter Pastures. And take a little tour inside here, get some lights on. I might bring up a few memories, I'm going to suspect, for the wranglers of Anokijig. Everybody has their own spot. Got the stalls, the trimming area, more of the every horse has its own fitted tack. And when horses retire at Anokijig, they go up on the wall. And a lot of horses there over the last 80 or so years that we've had horses. Wranglers, you may see your favorite in there somewhere, possibly. And there was the stud of the herd. Many, many of these horses came out of that horse right there. Okay, so entering the parking lot from the camp road. We come around to see the newest major facility added to Camp Anokijig, and that's called Centennial Lodge. Centennial Lodge was meant to provide a storm shelter for all 500 kids that are here at the same time these days, and provide a year-round dining facility in that center level, so we can do more Indian guides and white tribes in the winter months and serve our local community more. And up on the top is year-round offices and the newest of the Health Lodge. So that is now expanded and modernized, but still connected to Western Lodge, which is still the home for Anokijig.